Welcome to the How To Smoke Wings on the Egg with Bruce Sokol. First thing we do is we walk to the garage and we get the charcoal briquettes. Come on, follow me, come on. Here we go. In the garage. Come over here and you see the charcoal briquettes. We pick them up and we bring them inside so we can put them in the egg. Next thing we do is we get the rest of the pyrotechnic ingredients and then utensils and tools, which include the fire starter briquettes, which are up here in this cabinet, and the lighter. Ooh. Okay. Now, I'll be right back after this commercial break and we'll be outside prepping the egg. Okay, and we are back and we're outside now. And you'll see that here is the egg. And of course we have the rest of our supplies. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lift up the egg, but we have to be careful when we do because this thing has broken a couple of times. So we gotta maybe kind of hold it, gently pick it up, and take a look inside. So when we look inside, we have to first take out the little grill. And we gotta kind of clean out, make sure there's ventilation below. And if you see a whole lot of buildup below, then you may need to clean that out. I don't think we have to today, but we just got to make room for fresh briquettes that can get ventilation from below. So now we are going to pour some charcoal briquettes into the egg. Depending on how much you're cooking, maybe fill it up about halfway. You'll see I filled it up a little bit less than halfway. It's not an exact science. Then, I also have some mesquite barbecue smoking chips. I'm going to pour a few of those in there too. Kind of give a little more smoky flavor to our meat as it cooks. Then, I'm going to get out the lighter briquettes. See these? And I'm going to put them in here, and I'll show you how I place them. I'm going to put one on one side and one on the other. They got to have adequate ventilation, but they also have to be surrounded by the charcoal that they are going to end up lighting. I then get my lighter, and I'm going to light the lighter. And when I light it, I've got to light the briquette, the lighter deal. It's not lighting. Uh-oh. Okay, as you see, now I've been able to light it. And I am going to light the other one as well. Let's pretend I finished that already. And now, basically, they are going to burn for a while. I'm going to set the timer inside for 15 minutes and let it get circulated with the rest of the briquettes. Also, if you come below, you got to make sure this vent is open. See, it shuts or opens. And you leave the top open while it is lighting the rest of the briquettes so they're able to smoke for several hours. And we will be back in 15 minutes. And we are back, boys and girls. It's time for prep time. Okay, as you can see, I have our wings. And I usually buy the kind of wings where the drummies are already separate from the flats. And I'm making 2 batches tonight because it's 4 of us eating wings. And while first we got to kind of get the seasoning set that they are going to smoke in. So I like to buy the Meat Mitch rub, but you can buy definitely different brands. And while it is still in here, I'm going to just kind of sprinkle and lightly coat over the top of each one while they're still in their packaging. But the plastic, of course, is off. Then, and you'll see I'm wearing rubber gloves because I'm touching lots of food. I really don't want to have it in my bare hands, sanitary and all. So I'm then going to take some brown sugar, and I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of brown sugar over it as well. I'm going to pat them all down. And then I'm going to dump them one at a time in this pan that they're going to cook in. So I dump the first one, and of course when I do that, the bear side is on top. So once again, I'll sprinkle some seasoning, and I will just sprinkle just a little bit of brown sugar. I will now do the same with the second set. Again, I'm going to sprinkle seasoning and some brown sugar. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of break them up, mix them up a little bit so they cook kind of evenly and the spices kind of get throughout the whole thing. And so that is what I'm doing now. And usually when I've finished that, take a glove off because it's full of all the schmutz. I like to sprinkle a little bit more of the seasoning, get a little bit more of the brown sugar on there, some of the bare spots. Doesn't have to be all covered up, but just adds a little more even flavor. So this is what it now looks like before I put it on the smoker. Now we are still waiting for our 15-minute timer to go off so we can go put it on the smoker. So we will be back when that time comes. And we are back, and it is now time to put the chicken on the egg. So if you look at the egg, you'll see that it's fired up nicely. You'll see there's a nice burn going. Some of the briquettes are now gray, which means they're going to keep smoking and burning long after the fire goes out, which will go out once we close up the egg. So now we're going to take the wings and we are just going to place it on the center of the tray. We want to reduce the ventilation. You look below and you want to take this down to kind of a small slit. And basically the more open this is, the hotter it's going to cook. Same thing when you close the egg. You want to have this ventilation to be just a little bit open. The more open it is, again, the hotter it's going to cook. And what we ideally want is for about 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours, we want this to cook at about 250 degrees. So if you look at the temperature gauge right now, it's going to say 0 because the lid was open. So we are going to leave it for maybe about 30 minutes and just kind of see where it's at that point. So we will be back after it's been cooking a bit. Thanks. All right, and we are back to check on our meat. First, we're going to check the temperature, and we'll see it's at about 240 degrees, which is perfect. So once again, we are going to gently open up the lid. Remember, gently. Gently open the lid, slowly. And we're going to take a look at our wings, and we'll see that they seem to be cooking nicely. So all we're going to do is just kind of mix them around. Make sure they're all cooking evenly and nicely. And we really want to make sure that also we don't see burning starting to accumulate on the bottom of the pan, because then that could burn your wings and you wouldn't want that. So far things are looking good, and we're going to close the lid and we'll check back about every 30 minutes or so, see how it's doing. Once again, we're expecting a cook time of about 2.5 to 3 hours. See you soon. All right, we're back, and as you can see, we have wings that are cooking awfully nice in here. I just drizzled a little bit of barbecue sauce in it and mix it around so we can get them tasting a little barbecuey. So we're going to let that cook in for about 15-20 minutes, and then we're going to be done. Yum yum. All right, folks, it is now 5:30 p.m., about 3 hours after we started cooking, and we are done. So I'm going to lift up the egg very carefully once again, and as you can see, beautiful scrumptious wings ready to be eaten. I am going to shut the vent down here completely. I'm also going to shut the vent up top completely. That way the heat will dissipate after I take them off, and then I'm just going to simply, with pot holders, take these off, bring them inside, serve and eat.